Hey guys, Philosopher here, and today I have some interesting and potentially disturbing news for you guys, depending on how you look at it. The devs are initiating a playtest for some changes to Alliance War. They asked my alliance to be part of the playtest. I know that they've approached a number of other alliances. And I have not signed an NDA with respect to this playtest. So I am going to tell you what they are proposing and what they are going to ask us to test. And I'm going to also detail how it would change Alliance War and what my concerns are about it. And you can make up your own minds. I'm going to be interested in your own comments below. They've got a number of changes. I'm going to walk through them one by one. That this is what they're going to want us to test. So first of all, this one won't really surprise you, I don't think. They want to increase the war defense rooms from 10 instead of 8. So, why are they doing that? Well, look, it's fairly obvious. Right now in the game, we have, 168 characters, 169, whatever it is. A lot of characters. But really, what do you need in war? Well, you need 8 teams of 5 characters each. So that's 40 on defense. And then on attack, usually, at least in the higher levels of war, in the top, 10, 20 alliances, you're going to need 9 attack teams of 5 characters each before you full clear the other side. So that's 45 on offense, 40 on defense. That's 85 characters. You can ignore the rest of the characters in your roster, right? As long as you have those 85 characters strong for war, the rest of the roster can be crap. And you can ignore them. You don't need to have them leveled up. Obviously, the devs don't want that. They want us to continue having to, spend resources and money and time and as much as possible, money, of course, to get more resources in the game and to gear up as many characters as possible. And so this is part of a trend in the game. In raids, what they've done is they've tried to make it, instead of having one raid team, right, like in Ultima 7, now you have to have 5 different raid teams or whatever, right? One for each one of skill and bio and mutant and all that. Now in a war, they want to make it, okay, well, you have 8 defense teams, now you have to have 10. And the idea here is essentially to make us build more teams. I will say I think that this is bad for basically all players. I know that, it doesn't benefit people who have super wide rosters, I guess. I have a wider roster than many people, so I guess it helps me to a certain extent. But I think it's bad for the game. It means that it takes you longer and longer to catch up. And one thing that I've enjoyed about the game is in the recent months, is that now that we have more teams and fewer slot and the same number of slots, you make hybrid teams. And I think that's part of the fun in the game, is creating these new hybrid teams, whether it's teams like, you've seen on this channel, Hydra 3.0 or Hella Naturals, or some of the more recent ones who've been creating these hybrid teams to take on Heroes for Hire. To me, that's the fun of this game. Having just cookie cutter meta teams where you're like, oh, okay, what do you use to counter Asgardian symbiotes or whatever? I don't find that nearly as much fun. I think war has been more interesting now that we've been doing more hybrids to make the teams more powerful. And I think we already have a high enough bar in this game for new players and for players to catch up that I don't think adding more war defense rooms is good for players. I think it's bad. It also is going to lengthen war, right? Because now you got to take down 10 rooms instead of 8. It's going to make war, 20% longer, right? So, so that's the reality here. And of course, it would make it so you couldn't full clear the other side. But of course, they're going to introduce stuff to deal with that as well, because they're going to add more war attacks. So I think the idea is, of course, you're going to probably have to buy more refreshes or whatever. Maybe they'll give you some additional ones. I don't know all the details yet. This is just what had been passed to my alliance, is what they were testing. I got to say, this one thing that I think is bad for this game right now is it just takes too much time to play. I understand that the devs want us to be spending 24/7 buried in our phone. But that's just not a healthy thing for life. And frankly, if they want to make money in this game and have people who have real jobs and families, then they should have a game that is very conducive to you picking it up whenever and playing it whenever, and you can put it down whenever. And this idea, already we have this situation where you've got to be on, whether it's a certain time in arena, but certainly in war, as you become more competitive in war, you have to be on at the beginning of the war and at the end of the war. Making it so we have more attacks to run and more of a chore and more of a grind, I don't think is a good thing. Alliance War is really great as is. I really think there are things they could do to improve it, but that, to me, having more for us to do, more teams, more attacks, I'm not sure that's necessarily a good thing for the game for most players. Then they want to have special ISO bonuses in war, and can you be surprised by that, right? I mean, essentially, what I think has happened here with the devs is they created this ISO system, which we all like. I mean, I preferred it to the Red Star system because at least I can choose as to ISO what I'm upgrading, whereas Red Stars is this random RNG fest. So we like ISO, but maybe they weren't selling as much, making enough money on it. So now they're requiring it for legendaries, requiring it for raid. Now they want to give it so it's essentially required in war. You already get a bonus in war from your ISO. If you have ISO on characters, they're going to be stronger. They're basically making it so essentially you have to use, just like you have to use ISO in raid, you're going to have to use ISO in war because you don't want your characters to be weaker. Just more BS from them. It's really tone deaf, in my opinion, and it follows on more of this nonsense from them regarding the requirements of ISO. Very much out of step with the community. I'm disappointed because they said that they were kind of hearing us on this stuff and listening to our views, and I think they have not. And then here's the last one, and I think this one is the most bizarre to me. More attackers per defense player, where you can essentially have 2 to 3 simultaneous attacks. So I don't even know how the heck that would work. This is exactly what I'm giving you, exactly what was relayed to us. I don't know how this could work. I mean, this game has got enough bugs. Frankly, I'd rather they just get the game working well as is. But now this sounds to me like something even more, going to introduce even more bugs. But I don't even know how this works. So essentially now we're going to have multiple people attacking the same team. And I guess if one of the two of us wins, then the team's down. I mean, that's not an efficient thing to do. I think you'll only do that when, I guess the idea is, I see. I guess it seems to me like, I guess the idea here is essentially, instead of having 2 per room, it'll be 3, 4, 2 to 3 more, per player. So right now, just to give you a sense of what I think that they're talking about, when you're in defense, right, you've got, let's say, you have certain teams up. Here I'll show you some defense teams, right? The idea is you can only see 2 of these teams at a time and attack them. So now I guess they'll make it where you could see 3 or more. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're trying to make Alliance War go quicker, go slower. I'm not in principle against this idea, but I gotta say, I'm a little bit concerned that the changes for war are just sort of adding more, as opposed to making it a better experience for players. I mean, for me, what would make war a better experience is to make it something where throughout the duration of the war, you could do your attacks whenever. You don't need to be in there at the beginning or the end. You get no special advantage. And you get rewards based on, let's say, how efficient you do it. Can I bring in 1 character to clear 5? Or can I punch up? Or something like that. Something that doesn't make it so based on how big your teams are, how big your characters are. I think that would make war much better. It would make it so you don't have to wake up in the middle of the night where people are setting alarm clocks. They need to fix war matchmaking. I will tell you, I have passed this stuff along to the devs. I told them, they had asked me personally for my opinions on war quite some time ago, and I gave them my views. And they don't seem very interested in fixing matchmaking and some of this other stuff. But that's really what they need to do, not the changes that they're proposing. So I'm disappointed in them, and I'm concerned about this. Obviously, this is not set in stone. This is just stuff they want us to test, but it's just not the direction I think the game should go. And, I think that if they screw up Alliance War, for a lot of players, this is their favorite game mode. And if they screw this up, I think, they could really see an exodus from the game. So they're playing with fire with this one, and I hope they're going to take this seriously. I'm interested in what you guys think. Post your thoughts below, but also go to my Discord. I linked that below. Give me your thoughts there. We have an Alliance War channel. I'm going to be watching there, and I will give your feedback to the devs. Last time when we had the ISO blue playtest, I literally screenshotted all the comments from my Discord, and I gave those directly to the devs so they could see your comments. So I'm interested in what you guys think. I'm going to try to make sure that your views are heard on this. You're probably smarter than I am in figuring out exactly how this is going to change war, but I have to say, just don't have faith in these guys to do it the right way. All right, so if you like this video, I know you probably don't like the changes or concerned about the changes, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out our Discord, it's linked below. Also, check out my Twitch stream, that's linked below. I stream most weeknights.